Hello, all, and happy early Losar Tashidele. It is a joy to welcome everyone online, both on Zoom and watching on YouTube, to Tergar International's Losar celebration event with our dear Khenpo Pema Woser, with translations by Joseph Faria. My name is Alexandria. I'll be the host during our time together, and I'm zooming in from rainy but cozy Portland, Oregon. It is really a delight to be with you all, and I would like to extend my gratitude already for everyone joining in, either on Zoom or watching the live stream on YouTube. Before beginning our welcoming of Khenpo and Joseph, I would like to briefly go over our Zoom features. As you can see, the Zoom chat box is open, and it's really lovely to see and to read all of the international messages coming in. So I'm just going to take a moment to, France, all over the United States, Singapore, Moscow, Chile, Brazil, the Czech Republic, really incredible, Paris, Switzerland, Argentina. So really warm welcomes to everyone. And also on YouTube, you can use the chat to send welcome messages and also to post any technical questions. The Zoom chat box will be closed during the teachings and practice sessions to support a deeper inner experience. For those on Zoom, please use the Q&A feature at the bottom of the screen to post any technical questions, such as having trouble hearing or connection issues. As this is mainly a practice session with Khenpo, there will not be a Q&A. We have 6 wonderful interpreters working right now to offer translations into French, German, Mandarin, Russian, Portuguese, and Spanish. If you would like to listen in another language, please click on the interpretation button. And thank you, Julia is also going to share a slide to support this. So yeah, as the slide shows, you just select the interpretation button on the bottom of the Zoom screen and select your preferred language. Additionally, in the resource tab on Zoom, you can find the chants and practice text in other languages. On YouTube, the English chants will be shared on screen, as those watching on YouTube should all be English speakers. And I just like to take a moment to thank all of those people who made space for those to be able to attend here on Zoom. And now we have just one poll we'd like to launch for those on Zoom, and it's answering, thank you so much, Veronica. The question here is, what language are you listening into? And thank you for people on Zoom for participating in this poll. By submitting your vote, this will support Tergar in continuing to offer future events that meets the needs of as many people as possible. So right now I can see I have about 70%. So let's see if we can get like 80% of our participants to vote. That'd be great. So 73, probably need like 10 more people to vote or something. 74, 75, we can do this. I have confidence in our community. Oh, we're almost there. Somehow we went to 76 and then back down to 75, but okay, I'll give it, we landed at 75, pretty good. All right, wonderful. So I know Julie is taking a screenshot of that to send to our events team. So thank you so much, Veronica, for launching that poll. And then now just to go over the program format. So we'll be together for the next 90 minutes, during which Khenpo will explain the meaning and significance of Losar and lead us in practice of the Nectar of the Path, followed by a short tsok ritual feast offering composed by Mingyur Rinpoche. Khenpo will also explain the meaning and benefits of tsok practice if this is your first time participating. So tsok is really a feast offering. So please, you can take a time if you haven't already and gather some delicious, enticing foods and drink to later offer up and then to take part in. And now I would like to welcome on Khenpo Pema Woser and Joseph. And I would also like to just give a brief bio, because for many of us, it might be our first opportunity to receive teachings from Khenpo La. Khenpo Pema Woser was born near the border between Tibet and Nepal in a region that's known as Sum. After the tragic death of his Amala, his mother, Khenpo La left his home in order to study and practice the Dharma, enjoyed Tergar Osaling Monastery, located in Kathmandu near the Great Stupa of Swayambhunath. Shortly after, at the encouragement of Mingyur Rinpoche, his root guru, Khenpo Pema Woser joined the monastic college at Sherabling Monastery. Since completing his traditional monastic studies and receiving the title of Khenpo in 2010, Khenpo Pema Woser has worked closely with Mingyur Rinpoche to realize his vision at Tergar Osaling, primarily teaching logic, debate, and epistemology, and serving in many various leadership roles. In addition to the traditional course of study, Khenpo La has studied many important practice systems. This includes those described in the five great treatises by Jongyong Konsho Lodro Taye, as well as numerous commentaries on Mahamudra. These transmissions and teachings have come from great masters such as His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Guru Vajradhara Taisitu Rinpoche, and Mingyur Rinpoche. And now a brief word on our wonderful translator, Joseph. Joseph Faria was born and raised in Massachusetts in the United States and became intensely interested in Buddhism thought and practice when he was in college. In 2009, he attended a 10-day meditation retreat with Mingyur Rinpoche, where he decided to take refuge and take Rinpoche as his root teacher. Joseph has been living in Kathmandu, Nepal since 2012, devoting his life to study and practice. He earned a master's degree in Buddhist studies from Yangjan Yeshe Institute in Kathmandu, where he also served as an instructor of spoken and written Tibetan for several years, while occasionally acting as an oral interpreter. Mingyur Rinpoche asked Joseph La to serve as a teacher, translator, and facilitator at Tergar Osaling Monastery, where he has been since 2021, and I believe him and Khenpo La probably work closely together on lots of projects. So without taking any more time, I would now like to welcome them to take over the session. And thank you, Khenpo La and Joseph La, for being here with us. Thank you so much.
Nyamda yende dam jejen jone, kyabda gyawan dorje changda yermebe, baden lama dambe shala ja zashin kyabso chawo, dada simchen tamje je, yu chingil labar tsedo so, baden tsawe lama rinpor je, dagi chawra pe me tenshol. Katen chen myogo ne che sonde kusung tuji ngu zhe tsado so, yonde sangye kunda nyamna ya, katen sangye kunle labe ngu, tsawe lame shala so wande, nelo tokwa gyabar chingil lo, rikan sapa mindol dambe surim, nilam je labar timacho. 대전 고신 대고 때려봐 영천 라만 줘버려라 네 빼매 자자 자든 저 남전 집에 좀 나라져봐 장군 최제자고 돌려자자 빼마 이제 샤라 네 다다 심전 담절 최선 저거 챙길라도 최람도 저거 챙길라도 살람 투어세 버 챙길라도 투어 이시도 저거 챙길라도 라소드니 정말로 참비다시들래
So I would like to extend my auspicious greetings to all of you.
되네 믹스기 갸캅 자민 남바 나츠니 되니 달라 대냐슈나게 마보 슈지여서 제자 창말로 나도 텔레 년공 텔레 공도 텔레스
And in particular, it would seem that there are many, many participants from all over the world, from many different countries. So I would like to say to all of you, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening.
다다기 켄나바데 줌나라 끼리 가리가리 신기해서 갸차도 지고 외술로 연대서 뭐 보기 잡게 미치게 토마소스
And I couldn't help but notice that prior to this, you were all filling out a poll on your particular language, and I didn't even see a single person voting for Tibetan language.
조습기양 외술로 민도스
Joseph didn't even do anything about the voting.
다 게임도 간다 조습 아니 지고 인서다 보기 거기 정시로
Just kidding. Anyhow, Joseph and I are the same. We both understand that.
Last ni da nganzo tuze shira makabe toni an tiringi zirimde mango su dukshubayna.
So we don't have so much time today, so we can go right ahead and start with our program.
Ni da tiring shue zo zhou de kare yin sinarwa tangbo losar ki ko lango du du shue che. An di je la nganzo tanda lamji tuzi tang tsok dunzo ko lama dhugurwa. Susu choga de rimba dhudu ka zin deshe tos kangla kangsam dhumba da nyamdo la samlo kare tango kuyo me da nyamdo chun choya che. An di ngon la jitang tsok tanda lamin na jo ko du du shue cha che rwa tanda yis.
So our main topic for discussion today is, well, first we're going to give an introduction about Losar, about Tibetan New Year, and then we will go into the practices of the Nectar of the Path and also about tsok. And as we go through these things, I will do my best to give a summarized commentary on each section we go through and also try to give some kind of brief introduction beforehand.
Teni 다 당고 지당 로서 라디 잠발라 다 ngaza 상메 파지 행기 이기를 로서 시티 뉴 이어 라고라.
And I suppose we all would know what Losar basically means. New Year, right?
로 라나 이어제 서 라나 뉴 라고라.
So Lo means year and Sar means new.
다 간다장 로데 서바닝바 거리네 양 다다 값스 버벌랑 아주 직 갈라고르다. 최당 데비 토니 직 삼로 땅땅레 냠네 간디스케고 메 딘소솔라 직양 대화식좀 베베지 자기 요르스다데.
And so no matter if we were talking about, the old year or the new year, in this context, what is most important for us is to discuss how to think about this in terms of the Dharma, how to think about this in terms of our spiritual practice.
Teni 리dzambala 다 남셰 균디 있는 아주 다 베빌루기 로서데 땅 리dzambala 당보 로서 무슨 마땅윙아로도라 콤바칼라직 가진 퍼치 탐제 로지마긴 가진 퍼치 탐제 시야기 치도라 구두르 쳐야 저어봐 에나 마칼라 초버로 돌로기 초버로 된데 쳐야 루서여스.
And so usually, according to our Tibetan Losar, Tibetan New Year traditions, before we actually engage in the celebration of the New Year itself, we usually have these kind of ceremonies, these rituals to dispel any oncoming obstacles that would happen in the New Year. So this often involves rituals for Mahakala and Dorje Drolo, for example.
에나 아주 단다 들고 쓰린다고 있나 도지 줄로 쳐진 버려도 와.
So, for example, at Tergar Osaling, we've been running the ceremonies, the rituals for Dorje Drolo.
Teni 직 다딘데기 초바데 초고야기 내가 점점 초데다 직 수수기 용주기 로지마기 나라 친낭 삼성기 버지담지 시와 teni samdun 최신들 주바 된다 나시 미심발라 펜더 중바 릴라 아참에바 심도 동함에바 된데기 강아 참아 세게 치더라 지도 강술 직다 야면 남겨였다 지당 공원하러 봐.
And so the main reasons why we have these kinds of rituals and ceremonies for the new year would be to dispel obstacles for the coming new year. So we would say our outer, inner, and secret obstacles, and also to aid us in accomplishing all of our goals, our aspirations that align with the Dharma, and also to help dispel any problems and suffering, not only for oneself, but also for others. So this is why we have these kinds of practices.
단나발 렌게 줄라 친낭 상승기 발시든데 여베스.
So I would like to ask all of you, I'm wondering, do you all have these kinds of outer, inner, and secret obstacles yourselves?
유나 차지 장로 제스.
So if you have such obstacles, please raise your hand.
Nghe mà thông là kia mà chẳng thông là digres.
So even if I
Oh, they
don't see
poll do.
anything,
Yes
it
or
doesn't
no?
matter.
Oh, yes or no do. They can teach.
Yes. So yeah, a poll just popped up, so you can go ahead and fill that
Oh,
out.
97% yes. Oh, 3% no, maybe almost 상기줘요,
So the 3% who said no, they don't have such obstacles, you probably are almost enlightened, right?
아, 제물에 강달장 당 아주 갈라 오르다 두와 미암 양나 직 뇽몽 둥할 때 짜와니 마방 버들라 다 지나 상송게 버치듯이 가디나 지 용디고 오르바다.
So basically, I'm just kidding here. So as long as, we are human beings here until we are completely free from our afflictive, negative emotions, right? We always have these kinds of obstacles in our lives.
이나양 가진 버치 간수 뭐 간수 주나양 로제마데 뒤제데 딱다 수수 강 투톱직 땅네 단다다 로스라와 델레르 녀와라 디다 강로 그라 쇠센도 지내래 버려.
La, yaborangos.
다 가진 버치 간수 주나양 봐 롱마. 다들 저 참말로
Mm,
쇠센치니 다 로사발로 드래기 스코츠 요레스.
mm. And so, no matter how many obstacles we have, right, the new year provides us with an opportunity to work with those obstacles.
어쨌든 네 일잖아요. 로스터 마땅비 온라 다치 건데카도 근데 공부 친구 돼 있나 다 가진 버지 시워제 치둘라 근데 구두르던데 초야게 로스더니 여버레스.
And so, regardless, right, in many of these kinds of large monasteries, they have these kinds of ceremonies, these kind of rituals to help remove the obstacles of the oncoming year.
데니양 미창말라 데게 구두르데 갸침보 초보 침보 초야기 튠기암 뒤즈 가사고 당기메 바인자 카시기 양 쌍게 초보 초야 자고 당 데니 초바 챵바다 지단기 아니 구르는 뭐 지단 데버리 아니 챵바 드마단 데버리 초바데 초야 수수 나라 초바 뒤즈 퉁퉁 데네 초야 룩서 요르스다 니마 망보 초마도 니마 체가 좀 니마 찌 좀데 초겐 요르 단낭.
And so, not everyone has the sufficient time or resources to engage in these kinds of longer rituals, these rituals of a longer duration. So some monasteries may actually engage in shorter rituals that might only last for something like a day or half a day or something like that. And these might be rituals focusing on bodhicitta or Padmasambhava or Tara, for example.
이 아니 다 드레게 초바 초차베 실라 니슈 구니 못들라 드니 룩서도 지나 카르도 구툭라야지 투아에.
And so also just before Losar, the Tibetan New Year, arrives, there is the Tibetan tradition to have this 9-ingredient soup.
다디 구둑 통득 값을 양 딜라 갈라오르다 세나 다메다 나바 망보 창와지 디나라양 즉 소속이 다치 딱센도 다메다 이디네 가리 키기도 판gem도 근데 제 근데 룩서여서다.
And so when we actually consume this 9-ingredient soup, right? So we put all different kinds of ingredients actually in the soup, but we also put some kinds of pieces of paper with some kind of representation of what's going to come for the individual in that coming new year.
베나다양 카실라 직 나로라 직 쳔가로도 쳔 나포든데 다메다 루니라 한 소속이 마오바 가리 차기도 근데 제목을 서로 딱제제야 되는 양다 직 제야 룩서요.
So inside of inside of the soup, right, individuals would kind of pull out their particular sign, their particular symbol, right, which might be kind of dark symbol or a light symbol, right, and it's supposed to be some kind of representation to help them figure out what's coming up for them in the next year.
Yeah, 저 남도 쉬어요 말다 양 해봐요 말해서 가서 나보던 로지마 야부 마용마다 가로까지 한다는 로지마 야부 용어들 해봐요 말다디 고치단 게잼 제무스로 다드네 지야 글로스로 저
However, we don't have to be really superstitious about this, right? It's not saying that something is definitely going to happen, or for example, like the next year is going to be definitely bad for you, or it's going to be definitely good for you, right? It's more like it's for fun, it's for entertainment.
드니 디젤라 드니 가주다 남강래 드니 로서 세바직 남강 니모드다 무슨 로서 세바직 니모드 로서 땅에 치들라 드니 땅라서레 딱 셀라서 봤는데 차 디야레 다 디야레 타마 남강 니모드 제일 망제지 세바 숨주
Los Aguinenwa,
세월세
Bestes,
로상올라 말 거기 니슈 굴라 구투퉁으로 봐
Lasso,
디젤라 아니
Los
로서 세바
Agitepatigla,
숨주 나 세바 숨주 니모드 여러봐 세바 숨주 니
Lasso,
로사 세바직 니 말에 베도 주니비다 세바 숨주 님모드다 사니 로사르기 체들다 다디체레 안다 나싱기 치칼로르다 차진자
Lasso. And so after this day of having the gutuk, this 9-ingredient soup, then on the 30th day of the Tibetan month, Tibetan families would generally focus on things like cleaning their household and putting together, setting up all of the Tibetan Losar ornaments and so forth.
드니 디젤라 로사 세바직 레이로 다 로사 원네 델레이로
Then we would have the first official day of Losar of the Tibetan New Year.
드니 로사 세바직 님모드 남샤 균데이나 그래서 라미 로사레
And so this first day is typically referred to as the Lama Losar, the Lama New Year.
다디 라디 가르스나 로사 세바직 님모드다 수수기 라마 자레 군초로 쳐바 부야레 된다 나싱기 찍다 네자 신드 자가슈레 믹스기 기시주다 라마 자가슈네 라마라다 가진 제제 되니 라마라 투지 랭볼 참지슈에 또 쪼데 세바직 님모드 제일 많죠
And so it would be on this first day of the Tibetan New Year that people would go to see their Lama, see their guru. They would make particular offerings to the three jewels. They would visit special holy sites for pilgrimage. And so this is a particularly important day for example, remembering the kindness of one's Lama and making some kind of auspicious greetings and offerings to the Lama.
베나 지나바 공바 카드즈 펴바나 로자 세바직 님모 공바 망제 슈갱아오데 르보체 자가 수수기 공바기 라마저 라마 자가 슈그르 바 7월에 시라도 말해
So, for example, if you ever visit a monastery on the first day of Losar, right, then from very early on in the morning, people would go to the monastery, go to visit their Lama, go to visit their root guru, so they wouldn't be spending much time elsewhere.
된 디젤라 니만니바 더데 가르치 그랬으나 남주 라야테다 절빌로 서도 라기요 리난다 수수리 겜바 베나 수수기 파마레 파마 본체 근데 수수기 본제 겜바 된대요 저당 나야미세 참지 쉬어야 더다 저절 다시 들려 쉬어야 돼 저절 약간 진짜 쉬어야 돼 저절 자기였다
And then after this would come the second day of Losar, and we usually call this Khenpo Losar, which means like the Qing New Year. But really, this is more focused on one's family. So in particular, you would be paying respects to your parents, to your elders, and so forth. You would be wishing them pasidelic, auspiciousness, good luck, and remembering their kindness in particular.
안 디젤라 타던데 니까르스나더니 다 좀보드니와 지금 나라 파도 지금 나라 수도 직절로 좀보드니 다 칼라신 보신 보사 이것도 이렇게 로스로 요사래.
And then on the next day, there's a special day for, especially for one's friends, your close ones, right? So basically, you'd be inviting guests over to your place. So guests would be moving back and forth between homes, right, and enjoying good food, entertainment, and so forth.
다 간다 늦었다 룩수 점지마도 할래 계신보스 게 말했다. 센스.
We can say so we can say that this is basically all comes down to tradition, right? So it's not something of kind of extreme importance.
그러나 로서 세번 찍라 라마 잘 쇼다 로서 세번이 라마 잘 맞춰 어떻게 가요 말해.
So for example, it's not the case, right, that you would only be allowed to visit your lama, your guru on the first day and not on the second day, right? It's not like that. So this is more like a kind of national tradition, custom, right?
이나양 단단히 디기시에게 둔다들라 더 추담 베비던데 내가 내가 시상요.
So basically what this all comes down to, if we connect this to the Dharma teachings, right, it comes down to four main points.
수수기 추두버기다 가긴 벌지 탐지 시 튠진 삼바든지 줍 그봐 당보대 세월세
세월에서.
알았어.
sama 자기에게 강에 디스티스트 그냥 근데 말투지서. So one of the main points here is that this is for pacifying any obstacles that would interfere in the practice of our Dharma, and also helping to bring about auspicious circumstances for our Dharma practice. Also,
니 니빠데 나랑도 상경우스 제비 깨와 메바 인자 소설다 직심 모저게 닝어스 직 동안에 타르베게 랍되게 라마르바 그래서 라마기 까딘 제는다 라민 냠는다 라민 나주르게 냠는 라마기 냠는 그래서 니빠데
and so then the second is because we do not have the good fortune of directly encountering the Buddha in our time, but rather who do we have? We have the Lama, the Guru, right, who shows us the way towards liberation, towards the end of our suffering. So it's a celebration of our Guru.
테니 숨바데 가르스나 랑레 겜발라 직 구시압 테니 직 까딘 제데 랑라 까딘 체 미르즈라 까딘 제데 체 투베다 숨바데제.
And then the third point is it's an opportunity for us to pay our respects to our elders and to repay their kindness.
테니 시바데 직 잠불링기 미레 코리우레 가라이나 직 소금네 펜도 강토도 두투바 시소기 샵시 강토도 두투바 테니 직 미션라 펜바지기 아버지 두투바라 내가 시 대상.
And then the fourth point of this is it's an opportunity for us to offer up some kind of service, some kind of benefit, some kind of help to people around the world, people in our community, to the environment, and so forth.
제자 같은 드린 아주 또 실라 단다디 람기 두즈레 나나지 촉기 냠내레 나나지 타마데 몰람진 골라 잠도 숨지 로인도 잠발라 다기기 내가 차창와 직다 구도로 줘야래 니 람이 그냥 차창와 내는 찍도 되는 상대였다.
So then that brings us to our practice today, which will involve the practice of the nectar of the path, the practice of tsok, right? Concluding with aspirations and also bringing together elements of refuge and bodhicitta. So we're bringing together all of these elements, these main points of Losar that we've been discussing, all together combined into our practice.
차버도야 직 오마기 수수기 강직 뒷바다 녀바 싸바리 경기 차바리 연애야 두좀마 샥바지에게 거가 몽바지 레와서바 미우사바 드웨기다 두지지 차거.
And this is especially like an opportunity for us to confess any wrongdoings, any negativities that we have engaged in previously. And this therefore offers all of us a fresh new opportunity, a new chance for ourselves.
라스타 디디 잠발라 초기 냠nen다 라미나주 냠nen 또직 마시 빙하로 랑게 생기들 레가지 때이스.
So before we go directly into the practices of tsok offering and so forth, I have one little job I'd like to give all of you.
테니 레가데 가르르스나로 케나바다 직 로디 낭라 바르체 치쇼 가리가르 정도 바르체 치쇼로 숨 테니 노출 치쇼 가르 정도 숨직 디르제스
Lo mimani as well.
롱어만에 동어마게 낭라.
So I would like you all to just make some brief notes to yourself. So first, I would like you to write down what were the three main obstacles that you experienced in the past year, and what were your kind of the three biggest mistakes that you were involved in the past year.
라도 카바나 디나 디르 데브스나 디나 디르 디르자.
And so this is something that you could write down in the notebook or in your mobile phone, but just please go ahead and write these down.
얼었을 때 차리 인사리.
Okay, so maybe everyone is finished.
다 디지를 내가 니바.
So now I have a second assignment for all of you.
다 내가 니바데 가르스나로 마옹바 로지마. 로지마 로사르바 디낭라. 양자 디도 갈긴 파르시지 중승와이나 케랑기 직 탑람 가르가르 땡기 인세 탑람 민도 숨 되니 뭐 로디낭라 직 레가 사르바 미션라 페양 랑라 페야 최다냐미도 가르가르 지기 믹스 투모마이 뭐숨 디르제스.
And so the second assignment is I would like you to think more about the new year, what's going to happen this coming year. And so what I would like you to think about, first of all, is if you were to have those same three obstacles that you identified, if they were to come up in the new year, what kind of methods or strategies would you employ to work with those obstacles? And then the other thing I would like you to note down is three of your main goals, in particular, those kinds of goals which would help yourself, help others, and help your Dharma practice.
오케이. 다 볼 question 디와드니로. 다 탑람들 라였나? yes, 탑람 라면은 노직 진 땅으로 제스티 간다 가서 지 볼지야죠.
So we can do another poll. So if you were able to come up with some kind of method to work with those issues, then please click yes. Otherwise, you can click no.
오. 개직 탑람 라사도.
So 81% of you were able to come up with some kind of method.
개직 줄고 라민도.
And 19% of you could not come up with anything.
샘들 고마라 도그레스 라겐데죠.
No need to worry, however.
플러스 다 디데 인디 잠발라. 간수직 로서반 나라직 또 냠네 지도 강 제야당 아니 담제 서바샤니 뮤사와 드야기 레와지 갸니 근데 수족이 추 냠네레 나가는 지초라 펜바레 신라 펜바레 딱 강투도 드야기 선나라 뮤지 장국이 여서다 간다.
And so, especially for the new year, we need to have some kind of goal for ourselves. So especially to try to do our spiritual practice as much as we can, to try to help others, to help our society as much as we can. So it's important for us to come up with some personal goals and try to accomplish those.
어떻든지 용하게 치도라 드린 아주 다지 남지 두지당 초기 냠는 제야라 봐.
So that is why we have basically gathered here today, right, to practice the nectar of the path and the tsok offering so we can help to accomplish those aims.
남기 두지대 아주지 갈라오르다. 퉁둥 바식도 찾으나 뉴뉴 맛이 요 말이다. 이나에 냠는 게 내가 찾아 이러다 나 상도 자기요.
And then in particular, when we talk about the nectar of the path, right, even though the text itself is quite short, right, it's not very elaborate, still it contains all the key points to spiritual practice.
다디 냠는데 두바 있나로 와. 로데 최수 좋아. 최대 람도 좋아. 람디 아니 람디 공패도 좋니? 아니 소소 샘징 어디 출신도 똑똑이 내가 상화도 되나라 상대다.
And so basically what this practice helps us to do is it helps to move our mind towards the Dharma, right? It helps set the Dharma on the path, and it helps to enhance our path, our practice, and have our aims line up with the Dharma.
나나시지 원도당 의식이 냠네 차상화 되나 상대여 봐.
And this also includes all of the main aspects of the mundro, the preliminary practices, as well as the main practices.
아디 람지 두진 아니다. 냠는 게 내가 최초로 담아대 당아 람미나저래도 봐.
Lamin Nelzor. And so actually the main point when it comes to the nectar of the path is the practice of guru yoga.
Teni laminajo de ching nyamlin chen du zambala khala orda. ngāngzu chi sāngyū ngūsu chibi kiawa meba yinza ngāngzu ngūsu chaya raya de karasina lama rwa. Lama de ngāngzu katin shindo ni chenpo re la labar to ya tuyun tamba la lami kusung tu tang ngārangi runga yisum sāngyi ki kusung tu tsama kiawa meba chaya ki yoresta.
And in particular, when we engage in the practice of guru yoga, right, what we keep in mind is that actually in our current time, in our modern time, we do not have the fortune to directly encounter the Buddha himself, but we do have the good fortune to encounter our Lama, our guru, right, who is extremely kind to us. So when we practice with this kind of practice, what we are embodying is the indivisibility of the body, speech, and mind of ourselves, of our guru, and also of the Buddha.
다 덴제당 데비 토니 수족이 셈지 넬로드 출 신도 똑바 있나? 아니 코르베기 동안 차상활이 전에 맞지? 갈라 orda. 똑바 양다 바지 오늘 교초 초초라고 차게다.
So when we engage in this kind of practice, right, it helps us to realize the nature of mind, to free ourselves from the suffering of samsara. So basically, it helps us to gain true realization.
다 덴제데 또야기 치들라 깔레게와 지보기 되게 말이야. 속사고 그러와.
And so in order to have that kind of a realization, right, effort alone is not really enough. We also need the accumulation of merit and so forth.
그래서 다 속지 콜로 거봐 있나? 그 따디 것을 내가 싫어 망법 해 봐지. 대충중 저 이내야 수수기다 지 띵이 진다. 아게 툴라서 덴제게 자와 망부 지엔 있잖아요. 속데 자침부 소초였다. 빼줘.
So when we work with this kind of practice and this kind of tsok offering, right, even though we're only practicing for a short bit of time, but with all of our concentration and our recitation, right, then we can actually end up accumulating vast quantities of merit in just that practice session alone.
지난 속이 거든데 망고 휴저데 된다 수 뒤나 마닥 나와든지 장에 다발라 수 균네 봐. 아니 지 칼라 오르다 대동은 이와메 봐. 니 싸와다 동반이 숨도 주피 토네 수수기 대지 독숨춘비니 못하니 봐 시와라 천지 쪼르 때리래.
And so we can say that when we talk about the practice of tsok offering, right, there are actually many reasons and purposes for this practice that we could identify. But basically, it comes down to purifying our impure perceptions, to bring about the realization of unity, to incorporate the view of the emptiness in particular, and also to help us dispel our obstacles and so forth.
라스탕에 델라샤베 토네 팅 아주다 냠령무 수고 주야디 냠령 값으로에 아니 서모 땅땅마 슈니 진행 가서도 많이 더 대야이스.
So we can go ahead and actually go into the practice itself now. And I will, of course, try to offer some commentary as we go along about how we think, how we contemplate on the practice. So I hope everyone has already prepared their particular tsok offering. I only found this one.
김세가서 nga 타일레 나기 곰바치라 데데 치료 카세 사초고 말아 근데 라기 밑에 뜻이 뭐더라 마선스.
And so this is because I'm staying at a temple in Thailand and I haven't gotten the opportunity to go out and get anything else.
공다.
So please, I apologize for that.
라서 다디 이기도 지금 맞대나 please.
So please bring up the text now.
라서 다 당보대 가지고 가서나 짬도 심기니 고쪽이 알아봐.
So first, we'll start with refuge and bodhicitta.
진리도 좀 발았다. 당보 짬도 심기 가서 가리 삼보 당고를 쓰나봐. 하나 가지고 아니 상계대 뜸바 최대랑 인준대 최주비 쪽 아니 추들라 되니 잡수 두기 심나 템바제 한 대단 냠도 단ang 가지고 원이 라면내 저기 냠내를 속이 냠내 가리 제바에 내양 하나 찌보기 치도 많이 봐 마준남게 타다니 비스리에 담지 상계사랑하게 그게 단당한 거야게 니바비 민두스 토백에 치들어게 최 담배주 수신을 두기 선배 셈게 딩이던 돈이 내가도 잠을 셈게 냠도 송해인다.
So basically, what we need to keep in mind as we engage in the recitation of refuge and bodhicitta here is first, we think of the Buddha as our teacher. We think of the Dharma as our spiritual path. And we think of the Sangha as our spiritual companions, right? And then we think that we are taking refuge in them, the three jewels. And then furthermore, right, no matter what kind of practice we are engaged in, whether that be the practice of guru yoga or the practice of tsok offering, right, we need to keep in mind that this practice is not only for ourselves, but is for all sentient beings. It is so we can bring all sentient beings to the state of Buddhahood. But we don't have the capacity to accomplish that right here and right now. So we build the motivation in ourselves that it is for that very purpose that we are practicing this here today. So this is why we are starting with the contemplation and the recitation of refuge and bodhicitta.
상계 제단 조지 전남라 잔전 발도 다는 자선지 다기 진소인지 변선남지 로라 벤치 산지 두바쇼 산지 제단 소지 전남라 잔존 바라도 다네 자손지 다기 진손지 베선남지 로라 벤지 산지 두바쇼 English.
In the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Assembly, I take refuge until enlightenment is achieved. May the merit of my generosity and other virtuous deeds lead to Buddhahood for the welfare of all beings.
라스트 디젤라 먼저 체메시 걸로 소야인 바래 다 체메시 값으로 가르랬어 심진 직접 많이 봐 심진 탐지 대화단 대비기도 한데 동화다 이렇게단 별 동화매 대화단 대매라고 줘봐 내 아직 심진 수술라 가와다 메가와 개발매 봐 심진 참 제라지 차바다 당완이들 땅유 첨벌을 내서 선배 셈나라 템베 토니 한번 받으냐도 송로제스
So next, we practice the four immeasurables, and the four immeasurables means to wish that all sentient beings, so not excluding even a single sentient being, but all sentient beings, wishing that they have happiness and the causes of happiness, that they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering, that they not be parted from sublime bliss, and that all sentient beings, regardless of whether we like them or not, that they all dwell in great equanimity.
심진 담진 대화단 대외주단 덴바라 주지 동안 단 동안 계주단 다원 주지 동안 매변 대와 담바 담은 다원 주지 예를 자단이 단다वे 당뇨 전보라 내버려 주지 샘전 담전 대원다 대외주단 담버려 주지 동해단 동해 계주단 잡아라 주지 동해매배대와 담바 담면다와 주지 예레자단이 단자베 단연 첨보라 내버라 주지 English.
May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May they be free from suffering and its causes. May they never be parted from sublime bliss, freed from suffering. May they dwell in great equanimity, freed from attachment and aversion to those near and far.
Asta dijilanganzu lamgi tusukolas sungayin bare.
So now we move on to the nectar of the path.
다 람기 뒤집들래야 다지 당보 로도 간세티 원도 로도 남시 공부해도 와.
So first we start with the preliminary aspect of the four thoughts that turn the mind.
다 디가솔라 소고데 수수 셈나카레 공부를 쓰나르와 다 수수나니 직 슈드웨기 고갑이어봐 라마 상보제기 고갑이어봐 수수직 uk대야 땅득이어봐 로더나 다 딘데기 직 자와 상보 망보 두투기어봐 될라 한 딘데기 밀리들라 마나 토비 삼바 가와고미르스.
And so here, what we need to keep in mind is mainly, first, you think about yourself, right? And so you think about how you have this wonderful opportunity to practice the Dharma. You have this wonderful opportunity to meet with a spiritual master. You have even the ability to breathe. You have the ability to accomplish so many positive actions. And this is all because of this human body, human form that you have right now. So here we rejoice in that. We appreciate that.
메르 연데 도메 다니제 임바라셰네 가도제이랑.
Seeing its many wonderful qualities, I rejoice and delight in this human life.
딘데위기 직 미세 직 이주 두마단 템바 신라 펜데 뚝되게 다직 상we 밀리 톱이 여러데 이나양 메다비랑시레 다 메다비랑신 라디 잠발라 조조데 끼찌끼찌끼찌는 유두그레 세고 얼다라바 땅아주 직 칼라 얼다 로체르 드워레 아니 직 참sam직 디링 뱀메시비 체년다 쳔보이네 사니마 사시버레 디링 체년다 가면에 사니 뱀메시 케라샤시버레 다 가야 영시버레다 딘데 잠발라 딘데 용야데 시당 빼야고래 가서 고갑라고 열어봐 미다바 마이나 고갑라고 말어 찍버 차르고로 띵원에서는 미다바래서 시두를 세게 찍고 말해 고갑라고 열어 제자 당나나도 밀리 톱이 열어대 딱고 미다비랑시 깨지깨지는 유튜브도 다나 고갑 상보 유튜브가슬라 자와 상보 수신의 좀 최수신의 두기 삼베세나 템비 통이 하는 아주 돈 받는 년도 소에 있어.
And so we have this wonderful human life with so many positive qualities. It allows us to help and benefit others, for example. And yet at the same time, this is all impermanent. So impermanence means that it changes each and every moment. So for example, we get older and older every year. One day we might have a lot of fame and renown. The next day we might lose it, but also, right, we might not be famous one day and the next day be very famous, right? So impermanence brings along with it so many different possibilities, right? So this shows us that actually impermanence is a good thing, right? This process of change means that we can have new possibilities, new opportunities all the time. So this is what comes along with our human life, comes along with impermanence. So we have this wonderful opportunity to practice here and to free ourselves from suffering.
When I met thy love, Kanjon tando langde dozo cher.
Like waves in the ocean, all things are impermanent. I will accept whatever happened and make it my friend.
Lasta midakba rede hinayang azu lejumde sechi gibu. Lejumde seti gasula yudang dibu so derba. Midakba rede gyur doya de ko yudang dibu chigla teni gyurgiri madasam diga gyudwa mares. Ngaranzo yanchik ta losar badilla. Yagbo chagugo na 다 규야고지 땀된 대부 상보지 중국으로 봐. 지도 균제기 림바들라 갈라고 그러스나 한 레줌데 라비오래. 저도 드리 이랬잖아요. 당연한 거지. 대부 강다 강이나 규진 좀나 대부 민기래. 규진 맞좀 봐이나 대부 미기 말에 제상직 소소직 추주발에 자와 상보 주배하게 체도로 규진다 수심도 좀 바르지. 좀 맨당에 강투도지 탑시다면 좀 바르지. 좀 바르들라 가와고 내려봐. 어떻게 그 규진도 라비 삼배 쓰면 템베 돈이 아닌 건 좀 받는 도 있어.
And so along with impermanence, then comes the idea of karma, right? And so when we talk about karma, we're especially talking about the principle of cause and effect, right? So when we talk about change, right, change means change happening according to the principle of cause and effect. Change doesn't mean like things changing randomly without any particular causes. So for example, if we want our new year to be a good new year, a positive new year, that means that we need to try to enact those causes, those positive causes to bring about a positive new year. So when we have the particular causes and conditions come together, then we get that particular result. If the causes and conditions do not come together, then we do not have any result come about. So that's why we come together to practice and recite these things. We do as much as we can to create these auspicious causes so that we can have auspicious results.
Kyuken zomnan dribu ngemembe lezo shembe lamla lela kanumbe.
When causes and conditions come together, a result is sure to follow. So I will do my best to help others and engage in positive deeds.
Dendegi kyuken zombi wang susurani kyunyami tibi kyuken tsushindu zombi wangdo tanayangwa 강하다 장아주 크로바델라 동아 짜와 중진수도 마고 바르로 가디 이네 동아지 여들다 동아디야 믹세기 가르르스나 수기 제벌스나 조 심기 제송을다 동아 채송을 들어 심지 삼로 땅땅기 계속직 야나 심지 내당 내룩 뭐마데 마또 벌었더니 동아 자면 나조 지긴데 출르고 그랬어 나저나 수수수수기 찡샤레스 동아들이랑 생기 두바 말았어 지도 된대기 동아래 수신의 얘기 저거지 지도라 아니면 수신도 저기 선배 선로 땅배 통에 아니 가지고 내데 돈 받는 냠도 소에 있어.
So in accordance with these causes and conditions, we do our best to engage in spiritual practice properly, right? But basically, until we actually free ourselves from samsara, then we continue to experience suffering in samsara. And what is it in particular that causes our suffering? Well, that would be our own mind. So our mind basically meaning how we think, our mindset, our attitude, and so forth. And in particular, from not recognizing the true nature of our own mind. So this leads us to experience all kinds of delusion and mistaken perception in samsara. So in effect, we are creating the binds that keep us trapped within samsara. So it is for this sake, right, in order to free ourselves and free others from this, that we engage in this practice. So we will recite the next portion together.
Rove donga zo semje je rani rangi chingle do warja.
The suffering of beings is mainly produced by the mind. I must free myself from my self-created bonds.
다 이제 인류 잠발라 마란족이 심지 zubi dungal chuba delatene simji dungal den rogo yuna teni ngana zo chik ensa yuna mena chik ta so de so chago ro kunjo sum chagi yore cheza kunjo sum na kyapso rogo yore dere indu zambala ta ngana zo luwa mi bi kyapne kunjo sum de la sangye la tomba chö la lam gendun chik chödu pe ge drog ni de la nge ima teri ni zo ne kyapso rogo yi sambe ge kyamro samro ta ne ngana zo tomba de nyam de so yis.
And so, as it is the case that our suffering is created by our minds, what kind of refuge do we have to help us to become free from the suffering? So the main source of refuge that we have are the three jewels. So that is why we go to refuge, to the three jewels. And when we're talking about the three jewels, we think of them as the true, undeceiving source of refuge. And in particular, we think of the Buddha as our spiritual teacher, the Dharma as our spiritual path, and the Sangha as our spiritual companions. And then we form the intention to go for refuge in the three jewels from this day forward. And so we recite the following section together.
Melo denje jamne gonjo sum taso damba lam dan roze.
Three jewels, undeceiving and everlasting sources of refuge. Please be the guide, the path, and companions for myself and all beings.
Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Last. Tinijang 하버도엔 된단 비캡네데 수수라니 그 셈라 쇼그데레 수수라니 대신님보디 말에 어 tinje 인디 잠발라 셈니 대신님보디 예도만이 상기바레 디경원에 가서 잡는 것마데 깨유는 것마데 수수라니라 여레스 다 디토라 삼로탄에 가서 좀 받아 소이스.
And so then that brings us to the ultimate source of refuge. And the ultimate source of refuge is one's own true nature, mind, basically meaning our Buddha nature. Our Buddha nature is actually the original, timeless Buddha. And so that constitutes our ultimate source of refuge. So then we go on to recite the next section together.
Tendam jamne ranglan zopale semnye de jenbo yesanje.
The ultimate refuge is perfectly complete within me, for my mind is Buddha nature, enlightened from the very start.
라스타 된저기 짬도 좀 많이 봐 참다 닌저기 냠내 공고가 인자 되니 잠바다 닌저기 콜라 삼도 땅에 맞아 돈 받에 마소야 있다 땅부 닌저리
And so we, of course, do not only engage in the practice of refuge here, but also need to engage in the practice of love and compassion. So we start here with the practice of compassion.
대다 냠도 잠바 닌 잠바야 삼도 땅나 디그레스
And so we can also, of course, think about loving kindness here as well.
라니 지신데도 랑도르지 영소 자벤도 남니레지
I feel compassion for all the beings who, like me, want to be happy and free from suffering.
다나싱이 참 닝제 잠마이 뭐 장주게 심줄을 때 보여야 돼. 추기 냠는 매도 미롱와지 인자 아니 심전 탐지 상디게 돌바 때문에 수신도 지금 선배 장주 쓰면 삼로 다음에 더 나도 돈 벌어야 있어.
And likewise, we do not simply engage in just the practice of loving kindness and compassion, but we also need to imbue our minds with bodhicitta. So now we think about the welfare of all sentient beings and wishing to bring all of them to the state of Buddhahood.
군자 남된 자베 고발라 다기 그지를 람라 주바른자
To bring all beings to the state of omniscient Buddhahood, I will now practice the path.
나스타 디젤라 달라민나주르 문에들리기요다.
And so after this, we finally arrive at the true practice of Guru Yoga.
라스타 티가서 가리사마 땅고르스나 라마기 오데 상기기 군다냐바레 타바르도 꾸라니네 까티 하장 쳔보레 제상 라마 상기 나랑기 루마 예수 니포데르바 고성 콘나모 고성도 오 예와메바이 마 찌바이바 콘나모 까티 쳔보이 심지 토니 오이시네 제바메 섬이 섬로 땅에 토니 라마 등이 나고라 슈유 섬에 도지 창다 오 이거메비 토니 슈유 섬에 섬로 땅에 돈바디암도 소야 이스
And so here, what we need to keep in mind is that when we think about the nature of our guru, that nature is in fact the same as the nature of all the Buddhas. But our guru in particular is extremely kind to us. So in this regard, we think of the guru, of the Lama, as in no way different from that of the Buddha, that their body, speech, and mind is inseparable from the body, speech, and mind of the Buddhas. They are one in essence, one in nature with that of the Buddhas, basically that they are one and the same as Buddha Vajradhara.
라명오 산제 군다냠 라바란다 라가딘 체와제
Think of me, O Guru. In essence, you are equal to all the Buddhas, but in the kindness you have shown me, you are even greater.
라마제노 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 나스타 도르제 찬당고 이와메비 라마데 다기 tunjinang고라 슈유 삼여와 띵아랑라 팀 아랑기 룽아 예숨다 라마기 고숨토냐고 이와메비 균네 규시다 고숨토야기 대부 온도제네 아니 왕실라서 보통 선배스나 데비토니 안 도바체마다 송로제
And so imagining that the guru, who is inseparable from Vajradhara, is in the space before us. We then imagine that the guru dissolves into light and then dissolves into oneself, and then we attain ourselves the result of enlightened body, speech, and mind, inseparable from the guru and all the Buddhas.
Tandaraya lame ngoronzo lome ranshin sanje kundanyam.
Ultimately, I am the same as the guru in essence, for the nature of the student is the same as that of all the Buddhas.
Ta dijela lamata ngarang sanje tsama ngore be gyunirba teni chi khalla gordar sem rangbap so shabe toni tomate sonroje.
And so then, recognizing that we ourselves and the guru and all the Buddhas are the same in nature, we rest our mind as it is in that state and recite the following.
Randa lama sanje kunje to yereme maju ramba nyome she maye mi gon sume ranga ma riba rani rangi ngando da.
My mind, inseparable from the minds of the guru and all the Buddhas, I rest naturally without fabrication in my basic nature, not meditating and not distracted. In uncontrived ordinariness, awareness relaxes into itself.
Lasta ngo malap songroche.
So then we can recite the dedication portion.
Kage duzun sabe ge zoy dang kya dan jansen zhove ge guen dang che dara san ge se je ngwe bai shi ka kya zhu guen ten de top je ngo.
I dedicate all the virtue I have gathered throughout the 3 times, along with the virtue of the victorious ones, the bodhisattvas, and all beings, following in the footsteps of the Buddhas and their heirs to the lasting happiness of all the infinite number of beings.
Lasta nga zo chokjo puriyai.
So now we will perform the offering.
초갑술에 kinnabar 당보 람얌 캄 숭득갑술에 가르사마 땅고르스 나라바 다디 매당 추당 룽기 소이 차디요레 제가 당보 람얌 캄산디 잠발라 매기 마다고 탐제 바세 추기 되니 다보 마다고 장지 창마데 바 쭈니직 아니 룽기 고네 패진 개바라바 파직 도나 대통 이와메 바 돈이 이와메 바 되게 지금 삼었다네 마다고 대 창마 되나 똥반 얘기를 하신 대통 이와메 바 하시나 삼었 라면 캄 손이 마 돈바데 마 되이스.
And so the first thing that we have to consider here is the meaning of the syllables jam, yam, kam. And so basically jam, yam, and kam, they have to do with the elements of fire, wind, and water. So basically what we are imagining here is that we are dispelling all impure fire and purifying that. So then we are likewise purifying all impure wind, purifying all impure water. And so basically, in essence, we are imagining that all impurities dissolve into emptiness.
도나 람기 마다바 장 아니 얌기 개버지 아니 캄기 두지 나신 결성 삼바선나 데르바 초지담 랑이 둘레베 초지담
Kamdegi chelakarina?
아 람데기 마다바 다버장 얌데기 드니 공벨도 땅 빼짜침보 장망보 빼망보 아니 캄데기 드니 두지당 드니 똥바니기라 대동 이어 사동라신 결성 삼바저라 초지데.
And so More specifically, we think of Ram as purifying all impurities. We think of Yam as expanding all of our offering in the tsok, and that Kam is transforming our offering into the state of emptiness, making it indivisible from that state of emptiness.
Ram Yam Kam Yene Tabe Rangi Sa Shen Nyong La Je Do Me Te Jen Nyen Je Rang Za Le Cong Ze De Ye Nam Kai Gang.
Jam Yam Kam. Self-awareness is pure from the very beginning, luminous and knowing, yet ineffable. From the self-display of compassion and great bliss, pleasurable feast offerings fill the sky.
Di gazu tangbo om ahung ne gozu gudwa, om ahung ne gu sung tuk sung ki sabun res. Yeza, dona kajab togo nangyo tadani be simjen tamjo tang, sangye de chan ju semba ngarangi lunga yusum, ngo ewa meba, chiba meba ju sung sambi toni, teni chik tanda de tumba de ma sung go yores.
So for the next section, as we recite it, we start with the seed syllables Om Ah Hung. And so these are basically the seed syllables of enlightened body, speech, and mind. So during this section, we imagine that the body, speech, and mind of ourselves, of all sentient beings, of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, all of this becomes inseparable.
Teni ike namba di to chila di enji toni sung du kapsula, teni karsana chok de yasu su kyaro jes, kyagores. Tanda de tumba de.
And so what I want you to all keep in mind in particular here is that when you recite the English portion in particular, please raise up whatever tsok offering you have. So lift it up.
나 신기 지 잠바다 닌지고는 바탐지 동한당 둘 수수 샥바양 셈나 됐어. 그보다 네바 가리사야 샥바양 됐어 난고 그래서 셈나 된 거.
And also during this portion, I would like you to all feel great, immense love and compassion for all sentient beings, to wish to free all sentient beings from their suffering, and also to recall any of your own negative actions and confess those from the bottom of your heart.
오메 아호 가다냠베 도와고 랑산데 도니소메 엔제네베 연덴게 런도 쳔부 쇼소소 마도 왕게 동아뇨 제랑오 시베조 잠바이 쳔베 르군데 년제 쳔베 군라담
Oh, ah, May the beings throughout space rest in the great spontaneous presence of the qualities of wisdom, love, and ability, the inseparable bliss, emptiness of self-luminosity. Since our suffering comes from not realizing this gist of recognizing our true nature brings all guests together with great love. It has been prepared for us all with great compassion.
가와 쳔베 군자니 다녀 쳔베 자반다 탐제 쳔베 연데남 다다랑라 네베가 나센데네 도와라 랑와랑게 마셰샤 마다니 손zembe게 발라메베 인존다 낭신도베 추데다 랑사덴베 겐도롤.
May it delight us all with great joy. With great equanimity, there is nothing to gain or lose. Since the qualities of omniscience are now present within us, we are fulfilled. We confess that we have not recognized our true nature within the primordial freedom of all that could possibly occur. We liberate the obstacles of I and dualistic grasping into the space that is free from acceptance or rejection. These phenomena that manifest as appearances and thoughts we enjoy as the adornment of the self-clarity of awareness.
Adon Jodo Tamje Jang Tonsai Dembe Gendoro Gadan Chuve Lama Na Tazan Yenzo Ngando Tsim Rangwai Shepe Tsoju Le Kajan Jo Wan Jo Ne Sho.
Everything we eat and drink, and all movement and stillness we enjoy as the adornment of the empty clarity of awareness. The residue of our mistakes and confusion we enjoy in a state of pristine purity, perfected from the start. May this feast offering of realizing our true nature be able to free the beings throughout space.
tsokji choba kendo ro kenaba tsok this charana.
So please enjoy your tsok offering.
라소 당아주 담아대 ngomlam 수야이 규세민도.
So now we don't have much time, so we can go right into the dedication portion.
Sanamde ye tamje sebaini tole nye ben jana pamje ne kega na je bala jobaye sebe zolen dogon dowa sho.
By this merit, may all attain omniscience and defeat the enemy wrongdoing. From the stormy waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death, from the ocean of existence, may all beings be free.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Khenpo La and Joseph La. Thank you, Khenpo, for those wonderful teachings on the meaning of Losar, how we can connect with this time and make the most of this new year opportunity to connect with our aspirations in practice, and also to reflect on how we can meet obstacles that will arise again with Dharma. So thank you, Khenpo La, for those teachings, and of course, Justin. Thank you so much for your wonderful translation. It's really a delight to be here with both of you. And I believe now we are opening the chat box and also on YouTube. Please, we would like to invite people to share, type in your own Losar message and wishes. And it also could be message of gratitude or thanks to maybe to Khenpo La. But if you'd like to share, maybe an aspiration or a wish or something that you'll be tending to in the new year, we would love to see it in the chat. And I encourage you, it does not need to be submitted in English. Please feel free to type in your own language and the heartfelt meaning will be received. So wonderful. We're already getting some messages to come through. And as those messages are coming through, I would just like to ask Khenpo La if there are any final closing comments, blessings, or concluding wishes you'd like to offer to us. Thank you, Khenpo La.
예. 되니 나기 겨울에 나기 돈보 뉴뉴지 되니 걔는 뭐 벌써야지 돈보 뉴뉴지 동기스.
So I will make some aspirations to pray that all of your obstacles will be dispelled.
Padel Lama Tamba Chenam, Dala Minji Washi Kodas. Kishimendu Yutu Member China, Trilina Jingu Zanazo, Shebi Soa the Bemenula, Honda Chitsu, so Kunjo, Napoleon. Ramya Tower them like Pimpona Yan. Devote to go to be gone and depend around you. What was on Devote to go to the She wanted to know Devote to be on the songs of Common National. More in the German. Okay, 다 미세 샴바칸시아멘도 견나바 tsang만 가진 버체시 튠진 삼바 추신도 쭉 아니 추냠래 약보차 안 심진 뉴도 또비 제도를 모람 슈에 한 참말로 서 참지 뜻이들레스.
So I have nothing else in particular to say here, but I wish that all of your obstacles and your negative circumstances will be dispelled, that all of your goals will be accomplished in accordance with the Dharma, that your practice and your realization will all flourish. In summation, I wish all of you an auspicious Losar, an auspicious New Year.
Oh, thank you so much, Khenpo La. On behalf of everyone, I think we all feel and extend our wishes of gratitude and prayers that you have a long, healthy, happy life, and that you continue to turn the wheel of Dharma here also at Tergar. So thank you so much, Khenpo La, for those final remarks and blessings for all of us. And it's just really beautiful to see all the messages. Just as a reminder, do make sure you're selecting everyone so that all can read your chat messages. But we're getting so many messages in lots of different languages of wishes and aspirations and prayers for the whole world. So touching. And before we do our final thank yous and goodbyes, I believe we just have a few fundraising and marketing and community announcements and slides to share. So I'll give Julia La just a moment to bring those up. Thank you. Wonderful. I believe, yeah, well, we start with, do we have the marketing? I can start with the guru slide though. We'll start right here with where we are. Wonderful. So as you can see with this beautiful image of Khenpo Kungala, Khenpo La, please join us for February. I believe it's just next weekend, actually, the 20th through the 22nd. Join Khenpo Kunga for one of his very first teachings after completing his most recent 3-year retreat to explore the heart of the Vajrayana path. This unique event will demystify the Guru principle, offering practical wisdom on devotion, lineage, and the teacher-student relationship. The weekend will unfold in a new format with multiple sessions featuring teachings from Khenpo Kungala, along with interviews and panel discussions with Tergar instructors Cortland Dahl, Tim Olmsted, and Antonia Sumbundu. So, just pausing for a moment to feel what an incredible coming together of teachers and heart minds. Hearing directly from these experienced practitioners about their relationships to their teachers' devotion and the Guru principle, we believe will bring the teachings to life and deepen all of our understanding. Thank you, Julia. We can go to the next slide. Yeah, lovely. Flight of the Garuda, this beautiful picture of Rinpoche. So on March 7th through 8th, for those students who have attended a Path of Liberation Level 5 retreat with Rinpoche, Mingyur Rinpoche will offer deepening instructions on the nature of mind. In this year's teachings, we will continue to explore the text, The Flight of the Garuda, by the 18th century Dzogchen yogi Shapkar. So thank you. We can go to the next slide. Wonderful. Here, and this is another retreat with Mingyur Rinpoche coming up the following month, April 10th through the 12th. Mahamudra in the Luminous Mind, the third Karmapa's aspiration prayer. So during this weekend, we will receive a very special teaching from Rinpoche on each line of the aspiration of Mahamudra by the third Karmapa, Rangjung Dorje. This revered masterpiece poetically encapsulates the entire Dharma path, from ground to fruition. It's concise and complete instruction manual and has been used for generations to cut confusion and awaken our confidence in our inherent wisdom. If you're a student of Mingyur Rinpoche, we really strongly from our hearts encourage you not to miss this rare teaching and oral transmission. These retreats will be offered in 7 languages, and registration is now open at events.tergar.org. Wonderful. And I believe we have links that's been posted in the YouTube chat that will take you to these 3 retreats we just mentioned. Wonderful. And as you can see here, thank you, Julia, you were right on it. These are our fundraising slides. So we really encourage you, if you were touched today by the teachings, by the sense of community, any of the positive experience you have, and you feel capable of making a monetary donation, we encourage you to offer anything that you have, from $1 to whatever amount. It really does go a long way to supporting Tergar International and Rinpoche's many projects that support his vision of having over 100,000 meditators. So I believe also we will have, oh, and embarrassingly, this is my face on the slide, but please find a Tergar practice group near you. While we do gather online in this larger Sangha of Tergar International, we have many practice groups and communities and special interest practice groups all around the world that now, thanks to this modern age and the age of Zoom, you have the ability to basically join whatever group you have the time and capacity to. So we really encourage you to scan that QR code, or you can find a community, reach out at communityteam@tergar.org. And while I know we have a wonderful amount of messages coming through, if you look, Veronica, who works for Tergar International, has posted also some links. I believe, is that our final slide, Julia, or do we have, is that it? Oh, wonderful. Oh, excellent. Yeah, this is awesome. So if you were inspired listening to one of our amazing interpreters, please know as Tergar continues to grow and looks to meet people in all the regions that they live, we are looking for translation volunteers. So currently, as you can see in the slide, you can reach out for any language, but in particular, we're looking for German, Russian, Japanese, and Chinese, so either Mandarin or Cantonese volunteers. And you can also contact us at translation@tergar.org. Is that the final slide? I think it might be. I didn't. All right, wonderful. Now I will do our final thank yous. I would just like to take a moment to give a big thank you to the behind the scenes team, the ones who really make these offerings so smooth for all. Thank you to my support team, Veronica and Julia, and a heartfelt thank you to our team of incredible translators, Helen, Virginie, Anna, Baolin, Altair, Olga, and Danny. Thank you for being the bridge to connect so many directly to the teachings. And there would be no need for us to gather without each of you, the community, showing up. Thank you all for showing up to support each other in community and practice. How wonderful it is to be connected to so many beings who are using their power to bring benefit into the world. And that's all I have to say. I've said enough. And a final early Losar Tashi delay. And again, thank you, Khenpo La, so much for being here with us, all the way from Thailand, and Joseph La as well for coming and doing those wonderful translations. Thank you all, and karma willing, we'll be together very soon. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day, night, evening, or morning if you're where I am. Bye-bye. Oh yeah, if the staff, if the people behind the scenes want to turn their camera on and give a final wave goodbye, maybe it might be nice for everyone on Zoom to see. Yeah, just say bye. Yeah. Lovely. Thank you all. Bye, you guys.